Chemicals used in reverse osmosis plant. Reverse osmosis, RO, is a widely used technology for water desalination and purification. It involves applying high pressure to the feed water, forcing it through a semi-permeable membrane that blocks the passage of dissolved salts, minerals, organic molecules, bacteria, viruses, and other contaminants. The water that passes through the membrane is called permeate, and the water that is rejected by the membrane is called concentrate or brine. RO is a complex and sensitive process that requires careful monitoring and maintenance to ensure optimal performance and prevent problems such as scaling, fouling, corrosion, and biofouling. These problems can reduce the water quality and quantity, increase the operating cost and energy consumption, and damage the RO system components. To prevent these problems, RO plants use various chemicals that can be classified into four main categories: Antiscalants, cleaners, biocides, and dechlorinators. Antiscalants. Antiscalants are chemicals that inhibit the formation and precipitation of scale-forming salts on the membrane surface. Scaling is one of the major problems that affect the RO performance, as it reduces the membrane permeability and efficiency, increases the pressure drop and energy consumption, and decreases the salt rejection and water recovery. Scaling occurs when the concentration of dissolved salts in the feed water exceeds their solubility limit, causing them to crystallize and adhere to the membrane surface. The most common scale-forming salts are calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate, and silica. Antiscalants work by interfering with the crystal growth and bonding of the scale-forming salts, keeping them in solution and preventing them from adhering to the membrane surface. Antiscalants are added to the feed water before it enters the RO system, and they are usually phosphonate-based or polymer-based compounds. Some examples of antiscalants are PS400, at 2091, and at 2339. Biocides. Biocides are chemicals that kill or inhibit the growth of microorganisms on the membrane surface, preventing biofouling and biocorrosion. Biofouling is another major problem that affects the RO performance, as it reduces the water flow and quality, increases the pressure drop and energy consumption, and decreases the salt rejection and water recovery. Biofouling occurs when microorganisms, such as bacteria, algae, fungi, and protozoa, attach to the membrane surface and form a biofilm that blocks the pores and creates a resistance to the water flow. Biocorrosion is a related problem that occurs when microorganisms produce acidic or corrosive substances that damage the metal parts of the RO system. Biocides work by destroying the cell membrane and the DNA of the microorganisms, or by interfering with their metabolic processes and enzyme activity. Biocides are added to the feed water or the cleaning solution, and they are usually oxidizing or non-oxidizing agents. Oxidizing biocides, such as chlorine and ozone, are more effective and fast-acting, but they can also damage the RO membrane if not removed or neutralized before entering the RO system. Non-oxidizing biocides, such as glutaraldehyde and quaternary ammonium compounds, are less effective and slow-acting, but they are more compatible and stable with the RO membrane. Some examples of biocides are BCITA, BCRO, and CB25. Dechlorinators. Dechlorinators are chemicals that remove or neutralize the residual chlorine in the feed water, protecting the membrane from oxidation and degradation. Chlorine is often added to the water source as a disinfectant, but it can damage the RO membrane if not removed before it enters the RO system. Chlorine can react with the membrane material, such as polyamide, and cause irreversible changes in its structure and properties, such as swelling, cracking, and loss of selectivity. Dechlorinators work by reacting with the chlorine and converting it into harmless or less harmful substances, such as chloride, sulfate, or nitrate. Dechlorinators are added to the feed water after the chlorine injection point, and they are usually sulfite-based or bisulfite-based compounds. Some examples of dechlorinators are at 2326 and at 2591. Cleaners. Cleaners are chemicals that remove the scale and foulant deposits from the membrane surface, restoring its permeability and efficiency. Cleaning is an essential part of the RO maintenance, as it can improve the RO performance and extend the membrane life. Cleaning is performed periodically or when the RO system shows signs of reduced performance, such as increased pressure, decreased flow, or decreased salt rejection. Cleaners can be acidic or alkaline, depending on the type of deposit to be removed. Acidic cleaners are effective for removing mineral scales and iron oxides, while alkaline cleaners are effective for removing organic and biological fouling. Some examples of cleaners are RO-Dechl, RO-Clean-E, and RO-Clean-A. Conclusion. In this video, we have discussed the chemicals used in reverse osmosis plant, explaining their functions, types, examples. We have learned that these chemicals play an important role in ensuring the quality and quantity of the permeate water, as well as the longevity and reliability of the RO system. However, these chemicals also have some drawbacks, such as cost, environmental impact, and safety hazards. Therefore, it is essential to use them wisely and responsibly, following the manufacturer's instructions and the best practices of the RO industry.